Hey guys, how's it going? Justin here with Keystone Mountain Outdoors. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, what we're going to be talking about is the ATF e-file Form 4 process. The ATF e-file Form 4 process, if you guys don't know, is the new way of buying a factory-made suppressor or SBR. Real quick, a Form 4 is saying, hey, I want to buy a Dead Air Nomad or a Dano Defense Mark 18 factory SBR. That's going to be different than a Form 1, which real quick explaining a Form 1. A Form 1 is saying, hey, I want to make a SBR. This is oftentimes used for guys converting an AR pistol into an SBR. It could also be used for manufacturing your own suppressors. If you have the machining and capabilities of producing your own suppressor, you could do that, and it's called a Form 1 suppressor. It's generally going to get approved a little bit faster. There's not nearly as many people doing those. However, it is definitely a way of doing it. I've done the Form 1 process for doing SBRs. The Form 4 process is for buying, for example, a Dead Air Nomad or a Rugged Obsidian or a SIG SRD 22X or whatever can you're purchasing. It could also be used for the SBRs, a factory SBR, such as a Dano Defense Mark 18 with a stock on it. So kind of going on from there, let's kind of get into the video. First off, I want to give you guys a disclaimer. We're going to be doing this video to give you guys an understanding of the process, kind of how it's different, pros, cons, and kind of an overview of the process. We're going to be approaching this in a simple way. I don't want to overcomplicate this. This is already a kind of somewhat overwhelming process for people that haven't gone through it to go through. So there's no reason to make it seem any harder than it is. We're going to simplify it, and we're going to also approach this video from a consumer standpoint. I'm a consumer. Most of you guys are consumers. I do have a little bit of dealer intel. However, I'm not a dealer, so I don't really want to speak on behalf of that, and that really isn't going to be prevalent to you guys for the most part anyways. So getting right into it, what's the whole premise behind the e-file Form 4 system, and what makes it special? Why am I doing a video on it? Well, the e-file system, essentially what they're doing is they're taking a traditional form that you would fill out and they're making it electronic. The big benefit to that is it's going to make it easier on the ATF agents, which in turn is going to bring the wait times down. Whenever the ATF announced the e-file Form 4 system back in December of 2021, they also put out a presser that was saying that it was going to be 90-day turnaround times. So if we look at traditional suppressors, doing them the traditional paper way, at least in recent months, it's been a year or so, give or take. Some guys will get approvals in 3-4 months, but most guys are taking upwards of a year to 14 months to actually get their Form 4 approved the traditional way. So if we could simplify it, if we could make it easier on them, if we could do it all electronically, it's always going to be faster to do stuff like that than it is to do it the old paper way. However, there are some slight negatives that we'll get into. The biggest of which is really you're not getting a traditional stamp anymore. If that really matters to you, then continue doing paper. You could still do the traditional way. However, most people are going to do the e-file way. That way you could get your can back a little bit faster. And you're still getting a copy of the actual stamp. You're not getting the physical stamp itself. One thing worthy of mention, to some people that's a big deal. To most, I would say it's probably not. So getting into the e-file process, that's kind of first give you guys a little bit of an overview of buying a suppressor. So without going into the crazy detail, essentially what you're going to need to do is be of 21 years of age or older, be a person with a good, capable background check. Obviously, they're going to do a background check on you. So if you have reasons why you can't buy a gun, chances are you're probably not going to be able to buy a suppressor either. Getting into what you need to do, you're going to need to get fingerprints, a passport style photo. You're going to need to sign a couple things. And with the e-file system, most of the time your dealer is going to help you generate the form. It's going to be a little bit easier than the traditional paper route. Approaching it from a silencer shop perspective, because that's what I've bought all my e-file forms on. I've used the silencer shop system to submit all my forms. Essentially what you're doing there is if you've bought a suppressor, all your information is going to be there. Your fingerprints are going to be there. You just got to make sure your picture's updated. And then whenever you get the email to electronically sign the paperwork you need to sign, you'll have to do that. With the traditional form, you'll hear guys refer to something as a check cash date. Basically what that means is whenever you actually submit your form, the ATF gets it, they cash your check. That's basically acknowledging, hey, we got your paperwork. we're working on it. That's basically your start date. With the new e-file system, there's a new term and it's called certify. What that basically means is whenever your can comes into your dealer, you and your dealer go through the process of verifying that filling out the form, verifying that the form's filled out correctly, you're going to do what's called certifying your form. Essentially, you and your dealer are either going to do it in person or you could do it virtually. You're going to need access to a computer and be on the phone with the dealer at the same time. However, what you're going to do is go into the ATF e-file website. You're going to go in there and you and your dealer are going to be basically looking at the same screen. You're going to have to fill out a couple boxes. Your dealer's going to have to fill out a couple boxes, basically verifying that your form's correct, and then they're going to consider that form certified and submitted. So that's basically the new check cash or the go date. So whenever you hear people say certified, that's meaning their go date, essentially. So that's basically when the process starts as far as your wait time. Now, one thing I do want to mention with the new e-file system, it does seem like there's a little bit more lead time up front. You used to get check cash dates relatively quick. Like I'm talking like if you bought a can, you might get a check cash date in the matter of a couple days or a week. With the new e-file system, it seems like it's a little bit slower. Now, a lot of that's if you buy a can and it's in stock, you could get it relatively quick. But if you buy a can, for example, through Silencer Shop and they have to ship it to your dealer, they're going to have to wait for the Form 3, which is dealer-to-dealer transfer, as well as their shipping department to actually get it shipped out to your dealer. Your dealer is going to have to check it into their inventory, do all that stuff. It seems like now the lead time up front is a hair longer. I've had cans take upwards of 3 to 4 weeks to actually get from the point of purchase to get to the point of ready to certify. Now, that's something that's going to obviously fluctuate like everything else. I hope that, for example, Silencer Shop gets their stuff figured out and gets cans mailed out a little bit quicker, but they're super busy. You got to kind of be understanding of that. So whenever your form actually gets certified, gets submitted, hits that go date and goes, that's whenever your wait time is actually going to start. The ATF is claiming that the e-file forms are going to come back in 90 days or less. Now, in terms of real-world experience, I've submitted 4 of these e-forms and I've yet to get one back. Hopefully that changes in the next couple days. Hopefully by the time this video is up, I get a form back. But I currently have one form that I submitted back in February that's at 110 days since I certified it. It seems like wait times are all over the board with the e-file system. I've seen them as low as 3 days. I've seen a lot in the 20 to 30 day range. There's been a crap ton in that 60 to 80 day range. However, it does seem like as of today, if you search around online, most of the approvals that I've seen in the last couple days are averaging right around that 110 to 120 day time, which still is significantly faster than it was before, but it's not quite that 90 days that they kind of advertised up front. Now, one thing I do want to mention is we're at the point right now, as of filming this video, where a lot of the dealers started to understand how to submit the form. So we do kind of have a good bit of forms that were all submitted at the beginning of February, ended January, that kind of got dumped. So I do suspect that that is kind of playing with the wait times, and I do hypothesize that the wait times are going to come down a little bit as we go on, and we'll definitely update this video in the future. But as we sit today, if you're curious, most of the e-forms are getting approved in about 120 days or less. So that is definitely a huge positive sign to it. Now, another thing I want to talk about is on the back end of the e-form. So traditionally with a traditional paper form, your form got approved, and it would oftentimes take a week or two for it to get approved and get mailed out to your dealer. There's a shipping time, there's the actual mail time there, and then your dealer actually reaching out to you. Whereas with the new e-file system, your form's going to get approved and it's going to go to your email and your dealer's email. Now, one thing I do want to mention, a lot of people's forms have been going to their spam folder in their email, so definitely check your spam folder on a regular occasion if you do have some pending forms. However, whenever your form gets approved, it's essentially in your inbox that same day, and you could theoretically go to your dealer and pick it up that day if your dealer's open and everything. So it does speed up the process on the back end considerably. There's no more waiting for the ATF to ship it out. There's no more waiting for the mail to deliver it. It's going to be there. Go to your dealer, pick up your form, good to go. Now, one thing I do want to mention, this process is going to be a little bit different depending on which dealers you go with. For example, Capital Armory, they're selling cans and they're keeping them, and then whenever your can gets approved, they'll actually mail it to you at that point. So there is different kind of wait times associated with different companies. But going through Silencer Shop in your local dealer that has a Silencer Shop kiosk system, as soon as it gets approved, it'll be at your dealer already and be ready to pick up that same day as long as they're open. So I hope this video kind of explained the e-file form system process and kind of how it works. If you guys have any questions, definitely feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. To kind of wrap up the video here, I think that the e-file form system is a good thing for the industry. It's going to cut down these wait times. It's proven to cut down these wait times. It makes the process a lot simpler. One thing I do want to say is with the new e-file form system, it does seem like there's a lot more relying on your local dealer. Whereas with traditional forms going through Silencer Shop, it was a lot of Silencer Shop's end, and you very rarely had to kind of deal with or associate with your dealer. Now with the e-file form system, you're working with your dealer. When your can comes in, they got to check it in. They got to help you with the certify process. They got to understand the certify process. So I will say with the e-file system, it does seem paramount to have a good dealer. I've done a couple different e-forms through a couple different dealers, all of which were done through the Silencer Shop system. And I've had some good experiences and I've had some bad experiences. I had one dealer that kind of decided he was going to go on a power trip and be a total dick to me, which I kind of had to bite my tongue because I was submitting my form. I didn't want him to fuck me over on the form, but it did really kind of suck that this dealer went on a power trip, decided to be an asshole to me on the phone. So that is kind of a little bit of a negative. Hopefully you guys don't have to deal with that, but it kind of is what it is. You really need to pay attention. For example, that dealer I'll never use again. I found a dealer that I've been using for a while that does a really good job with the stuff and it's really nice. So, you know, again, a good dealer is going to be paramount here. So guys, that's pretty much all I got for you guys. Again, if you have any questions, I know this is a lot of information and I didn't cover everything because I don't want to make this an hour-long video and overcomplicate it. But if you guys have any questions whatsoever, feel free to post them down in the comment section below. Also, if you'd like further information or, you know, want to chit-chat or whatever, hit me up on Instagram. I have an Instagram page set up for the channel. I'll link it in the description, as well as I also have an email for the channel. So if you're old school and you want to shoot me an email, maybe reach out via phone or something like that, definitely feel free to hit me up via email. I check that pretty regularly too. Guys, again, I say this all the time, but I'm not a dealer. I'm not in the industry. I'm not trying to sell you a product. I'm a consumer just like you, and I'm trying to help people out. There's a lot that goes into this process, and there's a lot that doesn't get covered. And the more information that's out there about it, the more good information that's out there about it, hopefully the better the industry can grow, and hopefully we can get these things taken off the NFA eventually. But that's pipe dreams. Enough of that. Guys, I appreciate all the support. As always, remember to train hard, shoot fast, and most importantly, be safe. God bless.